Aha! Good morning, lovers. Lovely to be with you. Gosh, I've missed 1 week and I forgot what going live looked like. So nice to be back with you. Sorry I missed my Cuppa with Katie last week. The Wi-Fi connection where I was staying was so appalling that I just couldn't get online and do this. But I think that can also be a gift, right? It's nice to have a little break from being completely available to everyone at all times, right? I was actually away last week with my coach at a mastermind meetup. There are 10 of us in this group. It's business coaching. There's 10 of us in the group, and we were staying in the most extraordinary castle. My room with ensuite was a palace in itself, with a view over these grounds that was just absolutely breathtaking. And it had a dungeon. I mean, a real like an actual dungeon with cages, prison cells. I mean, it had we partied down in the dungeon. It was a bit spooky. We had a really great time, learned a lot, connected deeply, and a really, really special week last week. And it's very lovely to be back with you today. I can see some of you are joining live, so please say hi. And don't forget, you need to give StreamYard permission to show your name. So just click on the little link that's in the comments above. But it is very wonderful to be back with you today. And I wanted to speak to a very sensitive topic, but I also want to diffuse this topic massively because it is laden with shame, and shame gets us nowhere. Shame is, while understandable and while a very real human experience, the self-sabotage that it creates and the way it holds us back in our life, well, I'm drawing a line under that today. I'm drawing a line under that today, just to say. Kate, my darling, so good to see you. Hello. Ruth, hello, sweetheart. Good to be back with you. And Kellyanne, hello. Hi. You're my die-hard gals, aren't you? I think you guys are like nearly always managing to be on these cuppers, which is great. And Sarah, hello, darling. So good to see you. Yeah, shame gets us nowhere. Exactly. Oh, Kellyanne, let me just go back to you. Is that a different photo of you? Or is this a different Kellyanne? It is a different Kellyanne. I've got two Kellyannes on. Hi, new Kellyanne. Nice to meet you, darling. Sarah and other lovelies too saying hi. Thank you. Yes. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so let's shine a light on this and let's see if I can manage to do it in less than half an hour because I want to go to Pilates today. So, oh my goodness, where do I begin? Okay, so what I'm going to be doing today is and another one. Helen's here. Hello, darling. Hope you had a great trip. And Charlotte, hello, darling. All the beauties are here today. Woo, woo. So I'm going to be sharing a story that came through in a recent coaching call with a client of mine. It is a sensitive topic, so of course, this client remains completely anonymous, and I know and trust that what I share today will never reflect on her because it is her personal experience. I also know that what I share today might actually help her to receive the coaching we've already done together and integrate and embed it just that little bit more, because sometimes it helps hearing things in a different way more than once to have us receive the lesson and receive the growth that we need. And sometimes we need to hear it more than once in different ways from different people, verbally, written, visually, through song words, through poetry, through something we read. I mean, it's this is how we grow, right? So I am going to share today and trust that what I'm sharing is a deepening of her experience, and I'm going to trust that I impart some nugget of wisdom that will help you with whatever your own shame story is. We all have them. We all have them. Okay. Yeah. Cool, cool. And Sarah saying, yes, it does. So this particular woman, I did make a couple of notes actually. So let me just bring those up because although I probably won't look at them much, but I just want to take a look. The first thing I do want to reflect on, this is exactly what she said. I have shame that blocks me and keeps me afraid that I won't be accepted and loved. I have imperfections. I am not perfect. So whether you're single or in a relationship, can you relate to that? Do you have any shame around any aspect of you, your life, your experiences that are blocking you to feeling able to be loved and to love somebody else? Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're single or in a relationship. Do you have any shame that is standing in the way of you and giving and receiving the love that you crave? So for this woman, she has that going on. And she was really, really, really nervous to share why. And she put on her big girl pants and she tapped into those ovaries. Excuse me. And she shared her shame story. And essentially, she'd had a one-night stand probably around 30 years ago. This is the nastiness of shame. It lingers a long time. And she contracted herpes from that one-night stand. And please hear me when I say this, she made that mean. It's not her fault that she made it mean. And often we make experiences in our lives mean something in relation to previous experiences, perhaps from, early childhood experiences, but we develop a pattern ourselves that does often go right back to childhood, where we make certain things mean something about ourselves. And from a sabotaging point of view, a shame point of view, it's a I'm not enough piece. I'm unworthy piece. There's something wrong with me. That happened, therefore there's something wrong with me. That happened, therefore I must be fundamentally wired incorrectly. I am not enough. Because the other alternative is to make experiences mean the exact opposite. I could make the exact same experience mean that, well, I could put no meaning on it. I could diffuse it completely and have it mean nothing at all. I could make it mean that I am a fallible human and still lovable. But for this particular woman, she made that experience mean that let me look for her words on exactly what she made it mean, right. For her, she made it mean, I am disgusting. She made it mean, I am disgusting. She was carrying the belief that if she shared her story with me, with her friends, that it would have others think that she had no self-respect, that she had no body respect. She made it mean that men would think that she was disgusting and repulsive. And I'm looking at my notes and using her exact words. Let us feel into how deeply sad that is. Because this woman, I adore her. She is, like, from the moment I met her, she is so hard not to love. She is utterly lovable. She is beautiful. She is so intelligent. She has the biggest heart. She's the most incredible mother. And this woman, who I perceive to be just stunning in every way. By the way, I perceive most of my clients that way. I do tend to have very wonderful clients. She's carrying this shame that is blocking this beautiful soul to having and experiencing the life and the love that she really desires. And we all do this. We all do this. So without taking away from the courage it took her to share her story with us, the pain that she's experienced for all these years, without making light of or making fun of her shame experience, we spoke about many things, and I'm going to touch on a few of them here today. But one of the big things we spoke to was this piece about making her experience mean something different. And we really kind of took it, we really like played the tape all the way through and took it to the extreme in terms of what else could that experience have meant. Again, not to make light of it or fun of it, but to really start to see what else could be true. Because she had just made it mean that one thing, that she was disgusting, repulsive, had no body respect, and 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 so it is. And that has, that has been a heaviness and a weight she's carried for years. And actually, as I say those words, heaviness and weight, it reminds me to also share that this shame that she's been carrying, nobody wants to feel shame, right? We don't want to feel it. It's horrible. It's agonizing. It's like this black hole that can never be filled. And it's a terrifying experience, actually, that black hole that can't be filled. So we try fill it in ways that in the moment seem good and satisfying, but ultimately are only adding to our self-sabotage and layering upon the shame with self-loathing, self-hate, self-doubt. Like it erodes our self-confidence. Like I mean, we eat. I'm going to give you a few examples of what we do to not feel our shame. And this woman was doing some of these things. We eat to not feel the shame, to fill the void. We drink to numb it out so we don't have to feel it. We overwork. We throw ourselves into drama, perhaps in other people's lives, so we can focus on their drama and their pain so we don't have to feel our shame. We do stuff. We shop. We gamble. We we online shop. We over exercise. Like we throw ourselves into stuff so that we can distract and not feel it. And so we're layering upon the shame. None of it works. All that works ultimately is it's an energetic shift, which can happen when we commit to a deep forgiveness process, when we choose to make the experience mean something different. So I'm going to give you some examples of what we came up with, because it might help you to diffuse your own shame stories, forgiveness, and then, looking to the lesson from the experience and really receiving the lesson in that and the growth in that, rather than beating yourself up, because everything happens for a reason. Everything in our life happens for a reason. It all happens for us. It's not happening to us. And if we can take that perspective, it happened for me, and there's the lesson, then we're having a soul growth. If we don't look for the lessons, if we don't commit to the forgiveness work, if we don't heal our inner child, if we don't do the transformational healing work, which is what I lead my clients through, we are spiritually bypassing an opportunity for soul growth, which is the whole freaking reason why we're here, right? Like we're spiritual beings having a human experience. I have to come back to that and remind myself of that every single day. It's the only way I know how to show up in this world that often does not make sense and is very, very painful. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and what is happening for us, and it's an opportunity for growth. I have to remind myself of that every single day. So in terms of choosing to make it mean something else, we explored a bunch of different ideas. And let me go back to my notes. We came up with, because, so we came up with, well, herpes is a non-event. Like, why do we have to make it mean? Why do we have to give herpes, even just saying that word, I can still feel the stigma. I wonder if you can feel it. Do you feel icky or uncomfortable even hearing that word? There is a stigma on it. There's a lot of human experiences that we've applied stigma and shame to, and it does not help heal and move forward. Herpes, STIs is one of them. When you think about it, the way you catch herpes, you could have caught a cold off the person you had the one night stand with just as easily. And yet we give meaning to the herpes more than we give meaning to the cold. Now, I get that the herpes has longer lifetime ramifications. This woman, as it happens, has learned to live with it and hasn't had a recurrent experience of it for many years. It doesn't have to be what you think it's going to be, and often it will be what you think about it. But she's created a healthy relationship around this part of her life, as it happens, although she's still carrying the belief that it will repel men going forward. The irony of that belief as well, by the way, is that she has had relationships with men where she has brought up this topic and openly, authentically, honestly shared it with them. And they've been like, no biggie, we can work around that. Like they had no energy on it. They met this woman and who she is outweighed this one experience in her life. She is not, because shame does this. Shame says essentially, you are the herpes. You are that life choice back in your 20s. You are disgusting. That's the voice of shame. It is nasty. But she's met men that don't identify her like that. She is an amazing, intelligent. She is, I won't say her name. I am, insert name. I am a beautiful spiritual being. I am here doing my best. I am enough. I am learning and growing. That's the love-based identification. So what else could she have made it mean? It's not my fault, because she was making it her fault. Oh my God, she's been beating herself up for 30 odd years about this. It's not my fault. I was young. I made an honest mistake. But right there, the word mistake is making it mean something. Do we want to make the experience mean that she had made a mistake? Or could we make it mean she fancied a shag? Like, can we just lighten it up a little bit? She was in her 20s. She felt infallible. She felt like she could conquer the world. Anything was possible. She fancied a good night out and she fancied a shag. And I dare you to put your hand up right now and say you've been that woman, because I have multiple times. I have been that woman multiple times. And I'm drawing a line under the shame of that. Sharing with this client that honestly, I will lay in my deathbed when that day comes, and I will reflect on my life. And I've made some questionable choices and decisions in my life. I have put myself in very questionable, dangerous situations, particularly in my 20s when I was traveling the world and gallivanting around. And I was such a free spirit, and I was committed to adventure and fun and love and boys. And I don't regret any of it. Now I could, if I chose to, I could make certain decisions I made and boys I hung out with and things I got up to. I could make them mean awfully shameful things about myself. Or I could make it mean that I've chosen to live a full and varied life. And yes, I learned and grew from many of the experiences, and it has made me the woman I am now. Not least, it's made me the woman that can actually have a conversation with this client and be like, well, me too, honey. I've been there. I got away with it. I got away with so much. I got away without contracting any STIs. God knows how. And I think it's really important right now, as I say that my own honesty and vulnerability right now is important to diffuse this shame and the shame amongst women. It's not your fault. It is not your fault. Of course, there's a personal responsibility piece. Of course, like one of the big lessons this woman has taken from that experience was an invitation to deepen her self-worth, to deepen her respect for her body, to deepen her, again, her self-worth to the degree that she will only entrust her body and surrender her body to somebody that respects her. Of course. And life happens. And you can contract STI from an incredibly empowered, loving, amazing person that respects you. It's just a disease. It doesn't mean anything about the person that has it. It doesn't mean anything about you. It's no one's fault. It's all about the meaning we make of it and how we then work with that going forward. If that makes sense. We have to draw a line under shame. Apart from making it mean something else, like I said, we have to look to what the lesson is. So at the moment, we're doing like intellectual work. We're kind of up here. So we're making it mean something else. We're then looking for the lesson. And for her, like I've already touched on, it was a self-honoring, self-respect, not sharing her body with people who were unworthy of her, and more. There are more lessons. Not least, actually, in sharing her experience with me, there was a lesson in vulnerability. There was a lesson in how her honesty and vulnerability actually made her more accessible. I could connect with her more deeply. I loved her more because of her realness and her honesty. I loved her more because she shared her pain with me and it was relatable. And for a woman who's desiring to love and be loved, again, doesn't matter whether you're single or in a relationship, learning to be vulnerable to this degree, I mean, to share this shame story was massive for her. I cannot underestimate how big it was for her and how brave. And because she did, I could connect with her more. I love her more because of her and her story, because she's real. She's real. It's tangible. I know her because she is me. Does that make sense? So yeah, make it mean something different. Find the lesson in it. And then we go into the energetics of receiving forgiveness. And I say receiving because I really feel that when we choose to forgive, it's a function of our heart and our soul, and it's not something we do. It's not something we figure out. Yes, there are processes in my book, The Self-Love Affair. There's a forgiveness process in my meditation albums. There's a forgiveness meditation. There's an inner child healing meditation. These all help to move you through a forgiveness process. But in my experience, yes, I can use those kind of frameworks and tools. I use the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is freaking fantastic for forgiveness. And it's another framework essentially, but we can work with these sort of frameworks. But ultimately, when you experience forgiveness, it is a receiving of healing. And the way it happens for you will be completely unique for you and beautiful and life-changing. And it is the only way to be free from shame, is this forgiveness. So choosing to be available to receive forgiveness is absolutely key. And so however you go about your forgiveness process and however you make yourself available to receive it, it's kind of that's something I work with my clients on. You got to choose to do that. Even the choice, often just the choice to be available to receive yourself, to receive your own self-forgiveness is game-changing, because maybe it hadn't even occurred to you that it was possible to forgive yourself, that it was okay to let yourself off the hook. You're allowed to draw a line under it. You're allowed to be released of the shame. You don't have to carry it anymore. Just realizing that alone can be game-changing. because we carry shame and we don't even consider that we're allowed to be forgived, because it's like, I'm just going to I'm going to beat myself up about that till the end of time because I'm so awful to have had that experience and made that life choice. I'm not allowed off the hook. You are allowed off the hook. It's okay to let yourself off the hook. You can choose that. You can choose to forgive the other person. You can choose to forgive the STI. Choose to forgive yourself. Choose to forgive that choice that was made. Just forgive it all. Allow yourself to receive that forgiveness. And then finally, the final question I asked her is, if this was your daughter, remember I said she's an amazing mother, a very, very committed mother. I said, if this was your daughter, what would you say to her? And immediately the tears came, because she sees her daughter with pure, unconditional love. No matter what decisions or choices her daughter makes, it will never, ever stop her from seeing the truth of who she is. A beautiful soul. And that's the lens, that's the perspective she needs to redirect onto herself. To see herself with that level of compassion and love and forgiveness. And I said, what would you say to your daughter in this situation? And she shared what she would say. And, essentially, you're the most amazing, wonderful, incredible, lovable, worthy, more than enough human being. Her 20-year-old self needs to hear that now. There's a part of her, it's a very real part of her that's still very alive and very much running the show, that needs to hear, I forgive you. You are amazing. I love you so much. No matter what you do, you are lovable and you're more than enough. And you're worthy of love. And her homework is to develop a relationship with that part of herself and heal that part of herself and integrate that part of herself. And I tell you what, by the end of the coaching session, she was a transformed woman. So many light bulbs went off, and we need to reconnect. I haven't spoken to her since the session, so it'd be really interesting to hear how her homework is going. But it was powerful, and I felt like, I felt like I needed to share this here with so much love and respect for her and her story. And we are all her. Like, I am her. So many of you are her. Can we just release the shame and move forward and live our big, beautiful lives? I'm going to have a quick look at the comments. There have been a few that I have missed. Sarah says, shame I did have. I've worked through them since realizing they were blocking me. Yes, yes, yes. Helen, I've done a lot of work on my shame, but if I'm honest, it's still there hiding in the recesses of my soul and heart. I know I need to go deeper to shift them fully. And, that's one of the pieces here was when we witness shame with such love and compassion, like when she shared this with me, the witnessing of it was part of her healing. Like instantly it lifts the heaviness of it because we're shining light and love straight on it, and shame cannot survive in the space of that light and love. It cannot. So we have to bring the light and love to it for ourselves, and then for others to do that for us, to bear witness to us. It's very hard to explain, but this is my role. Me sometimes just sitting in the presence of a client, nothing even being said, is the healing. Boom. Because ultimately the healing is heart soul. It doesn't have anything to do with what we say. our frameworks, our systems and processes, the 7-step process to forgiveness, right? It's presence. It's energetic. What's Charlotte? Hi, Charlotte. Same thing happened to me when I was 18. Not that particular STI, but still got it. Ended up in hospital. I'm sharing so she doesn't feel alone. Thank you. See? Exactly. Exactly that. Amen indeed. Yeah, we all need reminding. Yeah. Sorry, Charlotte, I wasn't keeping up with your comments, honey. Sarah said, also, she didn't get herpes because she had a one-night stand. Yeah, exactly. She got unlucky with that. You simply get herpes because he happened to have herpes, and that could have been from a cold sore he had. Yeah, I got it from someone who I was seeing for 6 months. Yeah, a committed, beautiful relationship. Yes, it's all about the meaning we make. Yes, I've forgiven so much. It's so freeing. Isn't it though? Oh my God, letting ourselves off the hook. Whoop, whoop. We're all the same, perfectly imperfect. Yes, we are. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, my darlings, I'm going to have to wrap up because I have a Pilates class starting in under 15 minutes. So I need to get out of the house. I love you all dearly. Thank you for being with me here for this conversation. If you know somebody that needs to hear this, please just share this with them. And yeah, if you want to be spending a little bit more time with me, going a little bit more deeper into pieces such as this, come join the Love Lounge. We're an amazing, amazing membership community. We meet on Zoom at least 3 times a month, if not 4 or 5. We do 2 group coaching and channeling calls a month. I co-host masterclasses on various topics with other experts that come in. We're just an amazing community. The Facebook group is off the chain, so supportive, just divine. And look, if you want to check it out, the link's up above. I'm not going to talk anymore. Now I've only got 10 minutes to get to Pilates. And I need to go and get my nails done. Look, they're looking a little dodgy. Helen, this is making me realize that I hold shame for that I haven't thought about forever. Yeah, I know. Exactly. You haven't thought about it forever, doesn't make it not there, right? We all do that. I love you too, Charlotte. Thank you for being here. All right, honeys. Mwah. I'll see you next Wednesday. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Ciao, ciao.